Brilliance Audio presents Welcome to the United States of Anxiety. Observations from a Reforming Neurotic by Jen Lancaster. Performed by the author. My greatest takeaway from my college years on the ivy-covered grounds of Purdue University, the divine truth that revealed itself as I pored over volumes written by the world's most profound minds, was that I hated waitressing. The portmanteau hangry didn't randomly become part of our lexicon. It speaks to our most primal basic urge. Peckish diners' lizard brains perceived the feckless waitress as standing between themselves and imminent starvation/death, so it often got ugly when I forgot the extra salad dressing. My burning desire to exit apron-based employment propelled me to get my shit together and graduate after 11 years of study. I ended up with a bachelor's degree in political science, but that's beside the point. Any degree was a ticket out of the service economy back in the 1990s. That ticket's not exactly still valid. It's not lost on me that every barista at my local coffee shop has a master's degree in classics and, unlike me, knows the difference between further and farther. But back in the 90s, the assurance of that piece of paper was solid. Though I've not taken anyone's drink order in a quarter of a century, in my stress dreams, I am always sweating through my Oxford shirt and poorly tied tie, deep in the weeds, having been triple-seated with 8 tops, thanks to a clueless 17-year-old hostess. The bartender's taking forever to mix a single rusty nail because Sergey Brin hasn't yet invented Google. Empty plates are stacked tall as skyscrapers on the tables, which is confusing. Why would a party of 4 dirty up to 23 plates apiece, even if I were serving tapas? There's no busboy in sight. When I finally wake myself up, my heart's pounding and my stomach's knotted. I have so much adrenaline coursing through my system that further sleep is impossible. I've experienced much higher stakes in the past few decades, but none have felt as anxiety-provoking as waiting tables. I came to understand that I couldn't hold a job catering to people's most basic needs. The stress of it would eventually destroy me. So, it behooved me to understand the landscape of human needs, if only to avoid the terrifying responsibility. The basic needs concept comes from psychologist Abraham Maslow. In 1943, Maslow theorized that people are motivated by an escalating series of needs. In 1954, he organized those needs into categories and called the whole shebang Maslow's hierarchy, leading me to believe that one of Maslow's needs was to slap his name on things. Admittedly, I can't find a source that says he intentionally named it after himself, but who could blame him if he did? He created a clear picture of what drives the human race and presented it in a clever format that would go on to look terrific on generations of slide decks, so he deserves the credit. I can't state this clearly enough. Basic needs are a bitch and a huge anxiety trigger. In my adult professional life, I've done everything from negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts with humorless hospital administrators to being interviewed by Charlie Rose on national television. Yet what still wakes me up in a panic is that damn forgotten side of ranch dressing. Over the past few years, my anxiety levels have skyrocketed. My waitressing dreams have become so frequent that my concealer can barely keep up, and I'm already using the industrial stuff that can cover tattoos. This is it. I've reached the end of cosmeceutical science. Here's the thing. I'm not alone when it comes to stress. So many of us feel like we're living in trying times. I'd give anything to go back to the innocence and ease of my 1970s childhood, despite growing up in the golden age of serial killers. With Gacy, Bundy, and Dahmer out there, none of us were safe, yet no one seemed bothered. I lived in New Jersey, just over the bridge during the summer of Sam, and my family's chief takeaway was that Berkowitz couldn't have been so bad if he liked dogs. I'm desperate for that less panicked approach, for an uninterrupted night of sleep, to uncover the root of my growing anxiety. How did I get from there to here? Something has changed in terms of my relationship to my basic human needs, and if I can pinpoint some of those changes, I hope that I can start to relax, to disengage. So I'll work my way up the hierarchy. I'll look at each brick in Maslow's pyramid and examine it in the light of our anxiety-riddled world. How else can I find self-actualization, especially if I'm too preoccupied by spackling the trenches under my eyes? If Maslow and his pyramid could help me figure my way out of an 11-year tenure at Purdue and into my adult life, I'd wager he's skilled enough to be my guide to work through it again at the crossroads of middle age.